Okay.
Hello, I'm Reverend Benjamin Broadbent, lead minister of the Community Church of Sebastopol. Thank you all for joining us in this presentation. We are the Safe Return Task Force, which was formed by the Leadership Council back in April to shepherd a process of determining ways to be safe as we return to the facility, and also to imagine ways to be the church while we are not in the facility. Two of our members are not on the screen in front of you. They are Kathy Bell, who's a member of our Leadership Council, and also Pastor Rachel Knuth. You'll hear from Rachel a little bit later in the presentation. But now I'd like to ask the rest of the participants on our Safe Return Task Force to introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Chris Chang Weeks, and I am the Congregational Administrator.
Hi, I'm Pastor Lacey Hunter, Associate Minister of Faith Formation.
Hi, I'm Michael Ott, Church Moderator.
I'm Garth Watson.
And I hope you like Garth's voice, because you're going to hear a lot of it over the course of this presentation. He is our narrator, and we also have him to thank for putting together this overall presentation. Hope you enjoy, and hope you will become part of the wider conversation we're having about what it means to be the church in this extraordinary time.
Since we cannot return to the church building for a while, this presentation describes why we are not returning and how we are able to be the church in the meantime. Please pause the video if you need more time to read the slides. The Safe Return Task Force has considered all possible inputs to develop new ways to be the church during the pandemic, some of which may enhance the church once we have returned to the building. We first considered the church values that can be found on our website. We also considered the fiscal, resource, and facilities constraints. We obtained input from the congregants, staff, and other church leaders. We considered CDC and Cal OSHA guidelines, although these have changed over time. And specifically reviewed all guidelines for places of worship. Since guidelines may be tainted with political considerations, we also consider the statistics and facts, which are still showing high infection rates with a severe impact on people over 65. It is clear that these facts show we should not be meeting in enclosed spaces until there is an effective treatment or vaccine for the virus, which is unlikely until after January the 21st of next year. Based on all this evidence, we determined that it would not be safe to worship in large groups in the sanctuary until at least February 2021. The decision allows the church leaders the freedom to plan alternative activities through the Christmas and New Year period. With this decision made, the staff have developed strategies, guidelines, and responsibilities for all church and church community activities. Here is an example of the guidelines. Having these guidelines in place allows the ministers and staff to continue planning and performing church ministries during the pandemic. Worship and arts continue with online service, drive-through and small group worship, with Zoom worship services and other events being planned. Faith formation continues with many Zoom events, a food drive and racial justice events, along with other outdoor events. Unfortunately, camps have been cancelled, but care and fellowship continues with online activities, phone calls and visitations. Food pantry and safe parking continue, but the shower program is on hold and the mission program in doubt, but new outreach needs are being investigated. Pastor Benjamin has his usual leadership and ministerial duties, with the added burden of coping with the demands of the pandemic. As well as her usual faith formation responsibilities, Pastor Lacey has the additional challenges of spiritual formation and racial justice activities during the pandemic. Pastor Rachel has also additional duties of online prayer meeting, visitation, and finding new ways to connect with people during the pandemic. The music staff have been working extra hard creating music videos and keeping connected with the musicians during the pandemic. The church staff have also been working extra hard running and maintaining the church, as well as the additional administration and preparation required during the pandemic. On top of our usual activities, the church administrator has had to prepare and post guidelines, order and supply additional material required, and administer the payroll protection program. The bookkeeper is performing her traditional role, while the custodian is working a reduced schedule until the building starts to reopen again. Facilities maintenance is an ongoing activity that largely depends on a group of very busy volunteers. Although the church buildings are closed, plenty of activities are still taking place on site, including small meetings, grounds maintenance, and the safe parking program. All the working committees are still hard at work, with 2 new working groups now being created to cope with the additional demands of the pandemic. Please look out for these opportunities to serve your church community, or contact any church staff for details. we continue to revitalize the church with new ideas that would benefit the church community now and in the future. The pandemic is teaching us ways we can improve inclusivity and communication, and we will emerge from the pandemic better than we went in.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rachel Knuth. Thank you for engaging with this presentation. May we continue to be in conversation with each other about what it means to be the church in this extraordinary time. And may you be blessed with God's presence and steadfast love. Amen.